were born before the wind, also younger than the sun.
Namaste. Hi, welcome to the Shaman and Mermaid, and we're out here in Greece, just off of Athens, finishing up one of our retreats on the sacred and subtle geometry and subtle body. And we're bringing you your astrological forecast for really all of July, starting June 29th up until the end of July. And this is jam-packed. We say that all the time. This really is. And mystical and full of geometry in the sky. Katrina has defined our...
Well, I guess I came up with this because there's a lot of Uranian energy in the field this time. And so Uranus is full of electricity and kind of the random, seemingly random lightning bolts that come out of nowhere and shock you into a new idea or revelation or epiphany. Creates change, so change is afoot. So we came up with lightning is exciting if you conduct it without fighting. That's a big one.
Lightning is exciting if you conduct it without fighting. Why do we go there? Well, this cycle kicks off with the Capricorn full moon, which is also Mercury retrograde, and also the same day that Jupiter enters the sign of Leo. And then midway through the cycle, we have the Cancer new moon. So Capricorn to Cancer is the axis of security and how we feel grounded and nurtured and what makes us feel safe or that we have enough resources. But with all of that, we have a lot of Uranian/Aquarian energy. I'll set it up and we can kind of talk about it. We have Pluto in Aquarius for really the next 20 years, and definitely they're coming up in 4 degrees Aquarius. The nodes will be shifting after 18 months. The north node goes into Aquarius, where our soul wants to head towards the south node in Leo, what we need to clean up and heal and bring forth in right way. And we also have Uranus, the planet that rules Aquarius, in the sign of Gemini. So Gemini extra electrifies that energy and puts it out in the field for the next 7 years. And generally we just have big shifts of energy, which are Uranian/Aquarian. We have a big geometry happening in the sky, which I think is pretty cool, the sacred geometries.
Right.
This, I don't know what the time frame is, but it's quite unusual. 4 of the outer planets are forming basically the corners of a hexagon to each other, and it's not just loose, it's exact. Pluto will be at 4 degrees Aquarius. Neptune will be at 4 degrees Aries, so they're 60 degrees apart, angle of the hexagon. Neptune will then be 60 degrees apart from Uranus and Gemini, and then Uranus will be 60 degrees apart from Jupiter, and then Jupiter will then cross to be opposite of Pluto, all at 4 degrees exact between July 15th to the 22nd, and this is wild.
It's very unusual to be exact degrees and to all be sextiling like that, with the exception of that one opposition of Jupiter to Pluto. So what do you think all that does for us when you have those big outer planets and this perfect harmony?
I think this is a great time of stabilizing and harmony and shift at the same time, which I think is a spiritual blessing. For the last about 12 years, many traditions say from 2012 to 2025 would likely be chaotic and unstable, and then after that, because of the astrology and our shift in consciousness, we will be entering into a more stabilizing time in the inner heart. I think all of those energies of Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, and Jupiter all are the transpersonal consciousness. We have the soul, we have the spiritual journey, we have the revelator, and we have the truth all coming together in support. And so I feel like there will be great truths revealed within and without. They don't have to be good or bad, but it's just the revelation of this is the way it is. But they'll be harmonized in a way that's integratable, understandable, and change. And I think with all the retrogrades going on, Mercury, Neptune goes retrograde, the cycle, and Saturn, that it means saga, saga. That's the Greek phrase for slow, slow.
Slowly, slowly.
What do you got on that?
Well, the container that it's creating is why we kind of say that you can use the electricity to make it an exciting energy form for change. Grab that energy, be excited about the electricity that comes from that, and let it kind of be a catalyst for some evolution in your life, as opposed to sometimes when lightning strikes, it makes us scared, or we react out of a place of fear, and then that shuts us down, and we don't get to harness that great energy to light things up, to make that revelation and change. So the energy is saying, don't be afraid, and also the part of the mantra that we have, don't let it cause the fight that can stir up amongst us all if we are in that place of fear. So let it be a conduit for exciting energy. The big piece or takeaway at this time. We were talking earlier with some of the people on the retreat. Things, Michael alluded to it when he was saying the truth will come out and it will be very, very resonant in the field. We'll all go, aha, I knew that, I thought so. That makes so much sense now, because things that have been hidden from us, maybe purposely because we weren't ready for it, or maybe to keep us under control and not evolve, whatever the reason why it's been hidden, is suddenly going to become revealed. And an example, we were talking about aliens, that there's a whole lot of talk about some archaeological digs that have been discovered in Mexico that show tombs of alien-looking type creatures, that government information that's been hidden and suppressed from us for a long time is now going to be revealed. In fact, somebody at the retreat, as I was saying, was talking about a Steven Spielberg documentary called Truth Revealed. Is that
Full disclosure.
Full Disclosure. Something coming out by Steven Spielberg that's talking about, I think this is what's going to come to the surface. Things like what we've been told in our history books is the history of things is going to be like, oh, actually that wasn't the way it went. It went like this. And the McGraw-Hill books are going to not have the relevance that they've had for a while in our lives, and instead more truthful information will come forth. Those are the kind of things that we see coming with this great Uranus energy in the field, trining with Pluto. So the big revealer is trining with our soul self on a collective level. And a really powerful thing that you can do right now, if you study your chart, is see where your Uranus is, and then see how it might be being affected by where Uranus is in the night sky or in the day sky, and where it is in current times.
And this, when you look at that chart, this is a point that's going back to the late 60s. That was when the planet Pluto and Uranus came together in conjunction, and that's what gave us the late 60s energy of social transformation, revolution, explosion of consciousness, exploring spirituality and other types of mental and spiritual states. And then it kind of came to a contraction. Those two planets came into a square from 2012 to 2015 7 times. And there was a lot of upheaval that time, and it churned into the early 2020s, COVID times, etc. But now Uranus and Pluto are going to trine 5 times over the next 3 years. And so this is like the integration, the weaving, the tantra of what was once chaotic, what was once beautiful in the beginning, what didn't work, what worked is now saying, here's how it flows.
All those threads are coming together. So be excited about it, but don't fight about it. That's not the weaver. That's the thing that pulls it all apart. So we really need to find that harmonic resonance with one another. That is very much possible. So other things that come up at this time are acceptance and losing our judgments and rising above our sense of this is a dogmatic right and that's a hell no wrong. You know, opening your field of consciousness a little bit more to be accepting and tolerant of multiple perspectives, including possible aliens. Oh my goodness.
Who might be sitting right next to you.
Right. And so I think for this month of July, which is loaded, as we said, particularly the second half. After that new moon in Cancer, it's just kind of like every day there's a big aspect hitting. Take it slow with those retrograde planets. And it's summertime anyway. It's nice to just, saga, as we're saying, the Greek word, of slowly, allowing and accepting, tolerance, and be excited about the electricity that's coming through at this time and try not to fight it.
Well, thanks for tuning in to the Shaman and the Mermaid for your astrological cycle. And if you want to join us in Spain at the fall equinox, we have 10 days, 9 nights, and 8 paths to the heart. We're going to Valencia, Mallorca, Alicante, from the mountains to the ocean to the sacred city. See you there.
Until then, namaste.
Namaste.